The engine is still starting. Three, two, one.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good morning, you guys.
What is up?
Okay, so we got to tell y'all what's going on.
Yeah.
You might have heard us. We're chuckling at a situation, so please forgive us. But Lois, we need to talk to you later.
Yeah. We had a discussion,
We had a moment.
a little bit discussion, but we love Lois.
That's right.
We're big we're Lois heads, actually. We're big Lois fans. And Renee,
Superman.
yes,
That's all we're saying.
Superman. Superman is a great comic book.
Yes,
for sure. Renee Odell Hurt.
Yep, that's my cousin.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. I wanted to tell you I attended a Paracon last month and met with Sarah Lehman. Oh, you met Sarah.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. And all of you, welcome to the show. I'm glad y'all love me. Absolutely love you.
Yes.
You know it. This is going to be a great show today.
I thought you were saying it about you.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you all love me.
Oh,
I was like, I love you too, brother.
You know what? I'm going to say I'm glad you do love me. You know what? I'm going to say it. I said it, but I'm going to say thank you, travelers. Thank you. Know the 12 hours was rough, and you guys stepped up and took care of the problem together. That's why we are a nation. And that's all I'll say about that. Moving on now. we've got a really good show for you. We've got some stories come out of the web. We also got some stuff coming out of YouTube for you today. So make sure to get your coffee, get your tea, get your beverage, whatever it may be. Join us right here, right now. Share your stories. If there's something you want to know, if you want to ask a question, if something you want a statement, shoot it down. We're going to be watching the chat the whole time. We acknowledge all of you. We love all of you, and we can't not thank you enough for being here. I almost got my words twisted.
Wednesday morning coming and joining us and trying to figure out what's going down.
What's going down?
What's going down? I'm sure people just they wait for this day to come, and they want to know what's happening in our world.
Well,
and we're here to provide that.
Well, here's the thing. That's a good point, though. No, we're not gonna. People don't get and look at the things that we look at.
Yeah.
Or see what we.
And we can make it into bite-sized nuggets, so it's not too much, too overwhelming, and we can give them our perspective on what's happening. Oh, Rhonda Harris.
Rhonda Harris is in the house. Look at that. Hello, Rhonda. Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Get around my heart. Yes, I did it this time. Hey, Chris. Chris Fox wrote it in the house. I looked up what you said about phantom smells. Never smelled burnt things, but okay. Yeah, that's something if we can get Chris on maybe sometime on one of our shows, and he can explain the whole sensory perception of what they call minor seizures or spite seizures.
Yeah, man, that's for sure.
When Chris taught us about the sensory perception of smells and sight, that was pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get started. We are going to jump right into what's going on.
I think Chris is a guy or girl. I saw the picture. I'm like,
yeah. No, Chris Roden's. Yeah, she's a wonderful female.
Yeah, because you said he.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
I was talking about Chris. Chris Bellassoon.
Yes. Okay.
Paranormal MD.
All right. Well, it's to clarify, Chris.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about you.
Was I doing that?
Yeah.
My bad,
so it's 11 o'clock in the morning. We're only on our first cup of coffee, so we gotta cut us some slack here.
Yeah. We're not seen in the picture, and that's okay. I like this overlay. Let's get right into solar storms. We're going to start the show right now. Woo!
Star causes impacts at the Earth that shape the future of our world. Join Professors Dr. Jenny Meehan, Michael Cook, and myself as we guide you through a space weather certificate program like no other. To enroll in the Space Weather and Environment Science program offered at Millersville University, go to millersville.edu/SWEN. It's weather for the 21st century. This forecast also sponsored in part by CW Ops.
Space weather this week is really picking up in activity. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, there are a lot of regions in Earth view, and we've been following the big flare players. In fact, region 3869 is finally rotating to the sun's west limb after giving us a bit of big flare activity over this past week. We also have region 3878, which continues to give us some big flares, but the one that's taken center stage is region 3883. Watch it. Pow! Right there. It fires off a near M4 class flare along with a big solar storm. In fact, as we take a look at it in stereo coronagraphs, you can watch this very dense structure move off to the northeast. And it looks pretty much like this one's going to miss Earth. However, when we follow it in and look at the blast wave more carefully, whoosh, you can see that big blast wave going off like that. And you can actually see some of the dimming regions are actually in the Earth strike zone. So this particular solar storm might actually have an Earth-directed component. So we're going to be paying close attention to region 3884 as it continues to rotate in through the Earth strike zone, because this region is still firing big solar flares and it could have more Earth-directed solar storms. And now, as we switch to our sun's far side, we no longer have any spacecraft that are looking at the sun's far side, at least not for the moment. So we need to switch to simulated far side using AIA and HMI imagery of about 2 weeks ago to see what kind of sunspots might be lurking there. And as we take a look, we can see regions 3859, 3860, and 3857. These are the regions that have been rotating into Earth view on the east limb. In fact, I think region 3859 is likely new region 3883. But as we take a look at our JSOC HMI helioseismology far-sighted viewer, you can see region 3860 as it rotated to the sun's far side back on the 25th, and it continues to grow. So this whole set of regions, you can even see a little bit of activity here as well. These regions are going to be rotating into Earth view here over the next 3 or 4 days, and so that does mean we're going to have some more activity. We've got a few big flare regions that could give us more, keep that solar flux high and keep big flares on the menu. But then we've got a break. Do you notice this? We've got about a break of probably 3 or 4 days where things might begin to quiet down. So if we can kind of get through the mess that we've got right here, then we might settle down in about 7 to 10 days for a bit of a break before things get really crazy with all those older regions that rotate back into Earth view, with region 3869 leading the charge.
Okay.
And
All right, guys. We want to make sure that you got that. Whoops. Get that. We'll come back to that one in a minute. That came directly.
That's a different one.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get back to where the freaking thing was.
You go to history, maybe?
No, it's right here. That was, let me bring her back up. That was Dr. Tamantha
Right
Skov. We like to give you everything as much as possible, and that's why we want to bring that to you so you can see. You know, a lot of people.
Mhm.
What were you saying? You were talking about the sun and what people don't realize.
You don't really think about what is actually going on the sun. To sound redundant, but you just know it not to look at it, and it's going to burn you if you stay in it for too long. But there's a lot of stuff going on, going on there, and you learn about solar flares and what it can actually do is pretty interesting stuff.
It really is, and that's why I really kind of wanted to put that in the show and have it start.
You want to watch the phenomenon
trailer there? Yeah. As I'm trying to manipulate freaking YouTube here, you guys. Give me just a second while I get this back up and get this rolling. And daggone it, I hate it when that happens. When it goes to the flippity flop, and then you can't find what you're looking for on this thing. And it was right there. It was right there. Man.
Is there a playlist or something?
Yeah, there's supposed to be the playlist I had set up, like like we've been using.
Yeah.
But now, I know where it's at. There we go. We'll come back to you. I'm trying to get everything set up.
We're professionals here, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get everything organized for everybody. Not what needed. Good God, man. Let's see if that'll work. That's supposed to be it. So we will not be showing that video. But while we're doing it, why don't we fill it in with the
talk about this is from the New York Post. It was published on October 15th, 2024, so it's about a month ago. Mysterious doorway discovered in Antarctic ice via Google Maps and conspiracy theorists have wild ideas. Google Maps is a place of great discovery, and the latest sighting may be one of the oddest yet. In East Antarctica, just southeast of Japanese research outpost Showa Station, eagle-eyed users spotted a mysterious doorway, which has become the topic of wild theories online, with some speculating that it's Bigfoot's vacation home or a maroon shuttlecraft from Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? One Reddit user who noticed the ominous structure at the coordinates 69 degrees 005 0S 39 degrees 3622 E. Simply asked, massive door in Antarctica? Just a blown off Boeing door, one person who suggested, a reference to a shocking mid-air mishap last January, with another jokingly asking, wonder if they get DoorDash there. I would definitely expect a big tip if that was the case.
Right.
What we would do without the conspiracy theorist, John Smelly, a professor volcanologist at the University of Leicester, joked to the Daily Mail regarding the many suggestions offered. Scrolling down. But scientists have revealed that what they believe the structure really is, and it's not nearly as exciting as any Reddit theses. After looking at the coordinates on Google Earth Pro and seeing historical imagery, Bethan Davis, a professor of glaciology at the University of Newcastle, told the publication that the mysterious doorway is an area of fast sea ice just offshore of the coast that is littered with a series of islands where shallow water exists. This is an iceberg that became grounded and is now stuck and melting out in place, Davis explained. You can see many other icebergs in the area, so it's not some weird portal.
Yeah.
But they haven't actually gone to check it out, though.
Right.
So,
well, this is interesting because we have a lot of our stories are connecting together today.
Yeah.
So that's really cool
Yeah.
that this is coming up.
Professor Martin Siegert, co-director of the Imperial College London's Grantham Institute on Climate Change and the Environment, agreed with Davies, telling the outlet this is simply ice flow around a solid subglacial obstacle, influenced also by melting and refreezing of ice and by katabatic winds, whatever that is.
Yeah.
The ice is quite thin here, as evidenced by other outcrops of rock nearby, so the influence of the bed on the flow will be strong. On the ice flow will be strong, he continued. It's an interesting pattern, but not unusual or surprising glaciology. Glaciologically. That's
There you go.
hard word to get out.
I know. That's why I'm like, wow.
Really added that it looked like a short rocky ridge outcrop has been exhumed due to a lowering of the ice, explaining that the protrusion forms the top of the doorway, and there are two prominent parallel snow tails forming the sides of the doorway. The snow tails show you the orientation of the predominant wind direction. The volcano guru then amusingly shut the door on any conspiracy ramblings. So with a good imagination, there is a weak and totally false door-like appearance overall, Smelly declared. I am pretty sure it's just a natural phenomenon and nothing to get excited about. So, at least not there.
Well,
But we all know the portal to the moon base is in Antarctica.
Well, that's interesting because, again, that's going to link to two stories that we have towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. This is some good stuff today.
Yeah.
In fact, we actually have something truly paranormal for you at the end of the show. Can you believe it?
Imagine that.
I know, right? I'm going to jump here. Chris says, thanks for the invite, but don't want to be on the shows, but thank you anyway, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. I was actually talking about Chris Bellassoon. Somehow the two got crossed.
I mean, Chris and Chris.
Yeah, I'm not ambitious.
Hey, but we love Chris.
Absolutely.
And we're super happy that she is watching the show and hoping she's learned something.
Yeah. Irene also goes, we have tropical storms heading to Japan as usual, and I hope we don't get any more winter earthquakes. Oh yeah, girlfriend. Y'all don't need any more crap over there with y'all. Well, it's freezing tonight in Tokyo. Oh my goodness, is it really? I don't think, again, we think about Australia and all that. We don't think about weather on the other side of the planet or whatever.
About weather on the other side of the planet.
That's why I love
We have a Japanese correspondent.
Yep.
Here.
That's right.
Oh, man, she's a paranormal investigator.
Oh yeah.
Should have her on the show sometime.
Irene, we need to bring you over
Maybe she
as a guest, not take you from your show. Because let's face it, Spooky Tokyo kicks ass. I'm just saying that. Mad props again.
Yeah, have a guest talk about,
maybe bring some shows together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, come on the Freaking Awesome Paranormal show.
Yeah. Hey Amanda,
We'll
good to see you.
We'll do a joint show.
I think so. I mean, we got lots of UFO activity here. Oh, yeah, you do. Good morning, Michelle.
Elizabeth, what is up, girl?
What? Good. What? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you from the Q Morning
Let's see.
Zoo.
Ha!
Remember
Missy
that?
Parker? Yep, I do actually. Yeah, did you hear that one, Missy? Missy Parker Klein's in the house. What's up, girl? And Amanda saying, hello, Irene.
What's the
And
phrase that
that's
pays?
that's her cohort right there. So Spooky Japan in the
Oh,
house.
nice.
Both are in the house. So props to our ladies over in Japan. And Elizabeth, hello. Irene, oh wow. Okay. Irene Sue and Irene chuckle. So
All right, little going off topic here.
yes, let's talk
Back
about
in the day,
Back in the day.
do you remember what the phrase that pays was? The Q94.
Oh my God. That's something. Holy shit.
Q94 means music, money,
Money
and
and
more.
more.
Yep, on the Q Morning Zoo.
94. I was more of the days of Kirby Carmichael.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
I was
in St. Paul.
listening to the Q Morning Zoo.
I did to an extent, and then I stopped. I went to Jeff and Jeff.
Yeah.
Because I was a Jeff and Jeff guy. So
Yep,
that's
there we
kinda
go.
cool. Yeah, music,
Elizabeth,
money, and more. There it
that's
is.
my girl. That's awesome.
Come
Good job.
on.
Yeah, buddy.
Missy, jump in here. All right, so
Michelle Wilfong wants to come on our show and share.
Oh, she's coming on.
Yeah.
yeah, she's definitely coming
Hell
on. We
to
got
the
her
you.
set up. Yep, she's going to be coming on. Now we're going to skip a story. Now I will tell you, the one story that we had said was 2 weeks ago was Beyond Secrets. Everything that I have is on YouTube. I do my research. I do all of that. And while I have downtime at work, I work with Ryan and we get the best stories within that month-to-month, show-to-show. So the one thing I'm not going to put it because it's 12 minutes and 16 seconds, but you can go to YouTube, look up Beyond Secrets. Okay. This is what it stated. Elon Musk, he's in the news again. Elon Musk declares the SR-72 is ready to fly. So that's interesting that Elon, now I know, has a part to do with something with the SR-72.
What is the SR-72?
That is the new spy plane.
Oh.
This thing supposedly can do Mach 7 plus. It has interceptive capability, unlike the SR-71 Blackbird, which had no armament that we were aware of.
Yeah.
Where the SR-72 actually evidently does have armament. And we're going to bypass a couple things too, because if we get time, we'll talk about Godzilla Stealth Fighter from Japan. If we don't get to it, we don't get to it. May bypass. We want to make sure we keep the time in. But check out that. It's Beyond Secrets. Elon Musk declares the SR-72 is ready to fly.
I'm wondering how much more we're going to get out of like Elon as far as defense and stuff now that Trump is in office.
It makes me wonder the direction that we're going to go with our military defense and world, not just United States, but our worldly advance. And I think we were talking about something before the show that it's in one of your articles. I feel what you were talking about is going to come to light within the next 2 months. So, you know what? Do you want to? Is that article ready to go, or
that the AI article?
Yeah, let's talk about that, and then we'll bring up the next one that I have, which will be life's biggest question.
So this is
hold on. I read that, and how much is the charging for for that to travel? Yeah. Okay, valid point. I'm glad you saw it. We have a stealth sub that can go in the ocean and you can't hear it. Exactly. So do we. We have the Manta here in the United States, and I know Japan has their own stealth sub. So, and that's the cool part about doing this too. We're sharing information. You know,
it's so cool talking to someone from Japan. That's
love it.
Awesome, man. This is from the Mirror, which I think is like the National Enquirer of Great Britain, but they got some interesting articles anyways. Scientist claims Bible is proof that we are characters living in an advanced AI world. This was from September 30th, 2024.
So timeline. We're in there. We're still in the timeline.
Mankind could be living in an advanced IE simulated world, similar to the depiction in The Matrix, and that proof might be hiding in plain sight in the Bible, according to a scientist.
Mm.
Melvin Vopson, an associate professor in
Melvin.
physics, Melvin,
Mm.
sounds like a scientist's name, doesn't it?
Yes.
In physics at the University of Portsmouth, said the universe is, as we know it, could be an advanced computer simulation. In an unusual move, he said proof for this hypothesis can be found in the Bible. Just scrolling. He pointed to the Gospel of John in the New Testament as having clues that he claimed demonstrated we live in a computer simulation. The Gospel of John starts with the well-known statement, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God,
Mm.
and the Word was God."
Mm.
The Bible itself tells us that we are in a simulation, and it also tells us who is doing it. Bobson told Mail Online. It is done by
Anunnaki!
Yes, right. An AI, an artificial intelligence. He added the verse from the Gospel of John holds deep theological significance in Christian doctrine. He added the word in the passage referred to underlying computer code that governs the reported simulation. The simulation hypothesis, a well-established theory that claims humans are indeed living in a generated reality. Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed the simulation argument in 2001 that said advanced civilization could develop simulations that some human consciousnesses are a part of. It has been a popular topic in science fiction and also featured heavily in the Matrix movies. The theory will sound familiar to anyone who has seen the sci-fi flick where the computer simulation is shown to be made from a series of numbers and letters. Bobson further claimed God could also be a part of the simulation, but not a separate entity. He told Mail Online, the code running the simulation is not separate from the divine, but rather an integral part of it, perhaps an AI. Bobson further claimed more passages referring to God's creation also indicated we live in a simulated world.
You know, let me read this for Irene real quick. But AI does not come from Earthlings, and it can only come from aliens. Some of the items that we learned to make came from aliens' intervention, like our temples and shrines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with. We live on a flat Earth.
You a flat earther?
Yeah. Not. I'm kind of going with Irene on this one. I don't see how we're a simulation. I did it. No.
Let me finish up the article really quick.
Yeah. Oh, I know. There's more.
Yeah, there's more.
There's more. Let's go for it.
It implies a creator who brought the simulated universe into existence through the world, i.e., the code. He said it suggests that the act of creation, as described in the Bible, could be analogous to a divine act of programming and simulation. Vopson outlines his theory in his new book, Reality Reloaded, the scientific case for a simulated universe. He later said it was not something he necessarily believed, but a thought that deserved attention. What is truly remarkable is that the interpretation given is fully aligned to the events of our times, the emergence of the AI, and also it is exactly what the Matrix was projecting, he said.
Mm.
And that's it.
That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to bring something to light real quick because that snapped one of my synapses in my brain to go, hey, you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then we'll get on to the next one. This is my theory now. Okay. And I'm really looking at this really hard because I'm looking at religion. Okay, you guys get ready. I may melt your brain and play with your brain. I'm looking at religion. I'm looking at ufology, looking at our history now, and putting it into a salad bowl and shaking it really good to see what comes out.
Yeah.
Now, hear me out on this. What if, as of today, we translate down, it translates down, it translates down. What if, as our, if you will, sociological and spiritualogical, is that a word?
It is
right
now.
now.
You said it. It's a word.
It's a word. That we go back and, they're translations of thought and process of what today. What if the Bible, which we know the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly both the new and the old, are translations of the Quran, right? They're supposed to be based off the Quran.
Are they?
Yeah, so it's translations. So that's why they say, if you really want to know about God and Jesus, go ask a Jew. This is legit. Now,
Is the
hold
Quran
on.
Muslim? What is the Quran? It's
Quran is Judaism, Judean.
What's the Muslim one?
Muslim splits off. So we're going here for a little bit. You have Judean, and from Judean, Christianity went this way, and Muslims went Moses this way, went like that. Okay. What if? And that's a good point. The Muslim. Okay, we'll get back to that. Let's stick on this one. The Bible is that of the Quran, but where did the Quran come from? Maybe the Quran, if you will, is the translation of Sumerian or
Quran is the central religious text of Islam, believed by Muslim.
Mhm.
So they're all kind of just.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what if that is a translation of either Egyptian, which we really don't know a word for the Egyptian religion? That's the crazy part. How many of you know a word for Egyptian religion? Interesting. Let's take this further. What if that is just translation of the Anunnaki?
Mazaric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was an Egyptologist.
Interesting.
Yeah. Had him on the show a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, they believed in what what's the name of the gods that they believed in? One was had a big dog.
Yeah.
I'm having a total brain fart.
It's okay, but we know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about
Egyptian
too.
gods. We'll just go down that rabbit hole.
This is actually falling in line because of what we're getting ready to show y'all now. It's interesting because after we give you this video,
Osiris, Horus,
yes,
Anubis, that's a big dog.
Anubis, yeah.
Isis, Hathor, Thoth,
Ra, and yes.
Yes, Irene.
Rock on.
Come on, Irene.
Come on, Irene. Yeah. Let me go up here. We're going to drop down here as well. Scientists have here trying to invent a heart because we have a man-made intestinal tract here, ears, and other parts of the body. Yeah, Elon Musk is working on that too. If it wasn't the Quran, we wouldn't have a Bible and religious beliefs. Dude, yes. Now, where did that come from? That was my point. So maybe that's translation of the Anunnaki or another civilization after the Anunnaki, which maybe did the same thing. Do y'all see the progression? Anyway, what I'm getting ready to show you now is an amazing one. Now, we're only going to give you a minute and 30 seconds, so it's not going to be long, I promise you, but y'all really should hear this. And this is going to go to a good point of what I've been asking. Where did the real Egyptians go? Because the Egyptians of today's world are not the same. Sorry, they're just not. So let's get right into that video. The video is brought to you by Life's Biggest Questions, and this was 4 weeks ago. Physicists discover the final ancient Stargate.
How to open a Stargate portal. They were talking about this stone called a K2 megalith. So the K2 megalith is a massive crystal about this big, and it's underneath one of the tunnels in Bosnia leading up to the Pyramid of the Sun. Now, the Pyramid of the Sun is a gigantic pyramid in Bosnia. This is in Europe. This pyramid is larger than the Great Pyramid at Giza. Now, this K2 megalith crystal that was in there, it had writing on it. The writing said, "We must stand in defense." Okay, we must stand and fight, basically, they're saying, until we can open this portal. So there was a war going on. That dates back to the Pyramid War, the last Pyramid War that decimated Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, that decimated the entire Giza Plateau and turned it into a desert.
Are there good aliens and bad
Or
aliens,
good
from what
aliens
you know?
and bad aliens and all kinds of ways and reasons for interacting with us. You know, there's a misconception here. People think that our space brothers would bring us good things. The EBEs are so advanced, they're at least 500 million years advanced from us, and probably more.
Now, can they exist among us?
It's my understanding they can only last about 20 minutes in this air.
So we wanted to show you that video. It's an introduction to it. This is, again, that video was put out by Life's Biggest Questions. Physicists discover the final ancient Stargate. Now, go check that on YouTube. It's really interesting. It's an hour and 4 minutes long, but it's definitely worth the watch. I want to introduce you to it. That's what the whole purpose was. But this is where it's leading me. Yeah. Michelle's like, wow, amazing. I know, really cool, right? So this is why I brought it up, because the conversation we just had.
Mm-hmm.
Could, and through the video, it talks about, check this out, it talks about battles and what happened in the continent of Africa, up in the northern part, of course, Egypt, Siren, all of that. Talks about how it was plentiful and the whole nine. Then there was battles that took place. And then it talked about stargates opening up and these communities going into these portals. You got to check this video out. This is one of the things, that's why I love this video, because it's given me a little bit more insight to what happened to the Egyptians. And I'm like, and how many other communities are lost?
Yeah.
How many stargates have been open where communities just left this godforsaken planet? And it's a good planet. We just need to fix it. We're having a hard time fixing it.
The planet is fine. It's the people that are kind of messing it up.
Yeah, exactly. You read that?
Hmm?
The pyramid in Bosnia, in Mississippi, I think we have pyramids from Native Americans. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely do. And that's the very cool part about all this is, you know, we've got them all over the world. And now they're just talking about stargates. The future's here, y'all. We're unearthing true history, not what we were taught in the past.
And being able to do these videos on YouTube and not have to depend on the network news, which is being influenced by the government and probably don't want us talking about that stuff. YouTube, Rumble, and places like that, where you can have a more open sharing of information.
Exactly.
Which is like what we're doing right now.
We're giving you the real. We're giving you the whole aspect. That's why we call it What's Going Down, because we don't want y'all to be fed by the media.
No.
You know, we want to give you your thoughts and allow you to make your own decisions. I don't know if Mississippi or Missouri. I know one of them. I think you're right. I think it's Missouri.
Yeah.
A Native American pyramids.
You should have Scott Walter on your show.
Yeah.
Talking about pyramids and stuff like that.
I should reach out to him.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. She says, I'm sure there's some connection between them. I don't know what it is, right? Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, if Irene is still here, we're going to jump over to her side of the world for some tech news. And then we're going to jump into another story. But I really wanted to share this because I think this is a great point. And this is coming from Japan. And I think, well, technology that shows Earth what we're doing. So let's check it out.
Historically known for its aversion to war and its pacifist stance in global conflicts has stunned the world with a groundbreaking development: the Godzilla FX stealth fighter. This innovative aircraft marks a significant shift in Japan's defense posture, leaving many to wonder about the strategic motivations and geopolitical implications behind such a decision. Traditionally, Japan has relied on the United States for its military protection under a post-World War II alliance, but this move represents a new direction for the country, one that may change the landscape of global warfare. Japan's Godzilla FX, a sixth-generation stealth fighter, has the potential to redefine the country's military capabilities and position in the international arms industry. With growing regional tensions and emerging threats, Japan has decided that now is the time to strengthen its defense capabilities, particularly in the face of increasingly aggressive postures from China and Russia. Since the end of World War II, Japan has been highly hesitant to build up its military forces, especially its air power. The devastating trauma that the war inflicted upon Japan, culminating in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, left a deep and lasting aversion to militarism within the national psyche. This attitude was further enshrined in Japan's post-war constitution, which was drafted under the influence of the United States. Article 9 of the Constitution famously renounced Japan's right to wage war or to maintain military forces for offensive purposes. This article committed Japan to a strictly defensive military posture, relying heavily on its security alliance with the United States for broader protection against external threats. Under this arrangement, the U.S. stationed military forces in Japan, including air units, and provided a security umbrella that allowed Japan to focus on rebuilding its economy and infrastructure while avoiding significant investments in military expansion. In the decades following the war, this arrangement proved to be beneficial for Japan. The immediate post-war period was characterized by a massive investment in economic recovery and technological advancement. Japan's government prioritized rebuilding the country's war-torn infrastructure and fostering rapid economic growth, which led to Japan becoming one of the world's leading economies by the 1970s. During this period, the country's military budget remained relatively modest, and Japan was able to maintain a defensive military posture without significant external pressure to rearm or expand its military capabilities. This was further supported by Japan's relationships with its neighbors, particularly China and South Korea, which were often tense but largely peaceful. Japan's caution in rebuilding its military was also influenced by a desire to avoid appearing aggressive in a region with complex historical and political tensions. However, in recent years, the global geopolitical landscape has shifted dramatically, and Japan's long-standing pacifist stance has been challenged by the rise of new threats. Chief among these threats is China, whose remarkable economic and military growth over the past 2 decades has taken on a more confrontational tone, particularly toward Japan. China's increasing military presence in the region, its assertive territorial claims in the East China Sea, and its expanding naval capabilities have raised concerns in Tokyo about Japan's ability to defend its own territory without greater military investment.
So we wanted to share this with you guys. I want to read this here. Irene says, I have been to Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and I cried. My mom died from radiation poisoning because of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. See, and that's why I wanted to talk about this a little bit today, because we all need to be spotlighted, not just what's going on here in America, but around the world, and let people be able to speak freely and allow them to have their voice amongst everybody around the world. What's going down? That's what is going down right now. China and North Korea have tried to create a fight with Japan. Absolutely. And being allowed to defend and protect your country, Irene, is a huge step for the world. I mean, we've got to build up and show, and building Japan as it has become. There's something that comes to mind as I was thinking and listening to the video, and since I started to do research on it, you see me do this a lot, and Irene, I know you've seen me do this, because I'm a student of Bushido, and I feel the embracing of that mentality in Japan again. That royal pride, the conscious code, the loyalty, and being one. And I feel in this situation, I don't know what the word is. I see great things. I see great things. Some people may not know what Bushido means, or what Bushido is. It's a 7 levels of code, and used by the samurai. So seeing this loyalty, this code coming back to Japan, building up its royal and its pride, that says a lot. I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's saying a lot. And Irene, I wasn't even expecting you to be on the show, but wow, I'm glad you were. I am so happy you were here with Amanda. This is awesome. I love that factor. And all these shows and wonderful shows, and again, shows coming to shows and communicating. It's a beautiful thing, and it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. We're now communicating as one. And I think that's awesome. I'm going to hand it back over to the Bob. The mom going to take it over. We got another great story for you coming.
Let me get another story for him. Right, quick. Let's see here. Let's see.
Don't worry, we're coming. We're coming.
Wasn't expecting to know their article. Just bear with me. Bear with me here. Now my phone decided to stop working. What the actual F is going on here? Oh. All right, guys.
Oh my God, we're there. We go. We're gonna bring that.
Send you another
Get
one.
that set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Irene goes, "Oh heck, there's a spirit behind you." Yeah. We would not be surprised. Here, she's like surprised. Okay, we forgot to tell you guys
where we are right now.
Yeah, we are at the cabin on 360 in historic Mechanicsville, Virginia, where there is a lot of activity. So, Irene, good call. We're not surprised.
Yeah, definitely look up the cabin on 360.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great shows where we've had interaction, and they come hang out, and we encourage them to. We don't say, "Hey, don't be here." No, it's your place.
We want them to. This place is insanely active.
Yeah.
You're on Facebook. Look up the cabin on 360, and you'll be some pretty amazing.
I like the fact that Irene saw it.
Yeah, definitely.
Good catch, Irene.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, no doubt
that you saw it.
What are you doing over there, man?
I'm looking for an article. Like I said, I had 2 articles. I know I was doing 3. Okay. This is our biggest one.
Hey, that works.
I have no idea if it's any good or not. So
let's give it.
Yeah, we'll just take a chance on it.
Yeah, take a chance on.
Take a chance on. Take a chance. I found a secret room in my granddad's house. What I discovered left me gobsmacked.
Ooh.
Gobsmacked. Now I'm going to go take a little detour. This word gobsmacked got me thinking about it. Last night, every night on the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show, we talk about old curse words. They used to be used back in the Middle Ages or whatever.
Okay.
And I discovered a word yesterday.
Okay. Go ahead.
That can be. It just sounds really awesome. It is cacafuego, and it's a Spanish word that means shit fire. And I feel like you can use that today. Really pisses you off. Just say cacafuego.
Yeah.
And people know what you're talking about. Or most people know what you're talking about.
Well, here's the thing. I've used it a lot in the past because I think I use the metaphor because if you eat something hot during the day,
Yeah.
it's coming back out
You're gonna
later.
shit fire.
And it's going to shit
You're gonna
fire.
shit fire.
Especially with that Hispanic Latino.
Yeah.
Shit fire!
Caca fuego.
Caca fuego! I'm going to tell that to Eddie today. Caca fuego!
Caca fuego. So use that word in your everyday life. Make it a thing. I found the secret room in my granddad's house. What I discovered left me gobsmacked. This is from the Mirror again. This is by Paige Freshwater.
Oh.
This is on November 15th, 2024. So this is today, right?
Yeah.
No. November 15th. This is from the future because it's from 2 days from now.
Spooky.
We are reading an article from the future, guys, on what's going down. This is the kind of stuff we get.
This is kind of some spooky shit.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff we get here on Gobsmack or
Gobsmack. Welcome to our world.
Welcome to Gobsmack.
We promise you there's no hands up our asses doing this. We're legit.
We're rebranding the show.
That's
It's
right.
now called Gobsmack.
That's Mild Spirit tells me
to.
Probably.
Dude, I tell you what, man, I've been called fucker here. I've been called asshole. I've been called a lot of things that aren't the nicest things in the world.
Other people have too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not exactly the friendly spirits here. Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
But they're probably saying that to you because you noticed them when they're just chilling out. They don't like to be called out. That's a mild spirit telling me to. I love it.
A man has been left gobsmacked after discovering a secret room in his granddad's house. And now that he doesn't know whether he should contact the police. He explained how his granddad moved into a new house in the country, and when visiting him one day, he accidentally damaged a wall in the property. It happens.
It happens.
Scroll. After taking a closer look at the damage, he noticed something unusual and called his granddad in to have a further look. On Reddit, he said, I went to my grandparents a few months after they moved into a new house out in the country. I got into a bit of horseplay with a cousin and got shoved into a wall. Broke a huge big hole, and we realized that there was a large empty space back there. With his granddad's help, the trio tore down the wall, but they weren't at all prepared for what they saw on the other side. He added, we found a little room full of planting trays and grow lamps. There were a number of books about horticulture and one specifically about growing marijuana.
Oh, I knew it.
I thought it was going to be like a sex dungeon or something like that. There was like handcuffs on the walls. Or there was there was no secret way in as far as we could tell. Someone just had walled the entire room off for some reason. Commenting on his post, one user said, your poor grandpa having to pretend to be seeing his own grown up for the first time, showing it to his grandkids. Another user added, I'm guessing they walled it off so they could sell the house, not have evidence laying around of their marijuana growing. A third user said, nice try, Grandpa. But it turns out he isn't the only one to have discovered a room in their house. As another user added, in a house a friend was renting, I realized that there was a missing 5 feet between the back wall of the master bedroom and the back wall of the garage. Poking around the garage, I found a piece of plywood with concealed hinges, held shut with 2 nails. Opened it and found a 12 by 5 room with walls covered with foil and a couple of outlets for lamps on the ceiling. My friend converted into a walk-in closet.
A walk-in closet, all right.
There we go. So his discovery was nothing as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
Oh no, hold on. That's leading. That's a continuous thing.
Yeah.
Now discovering, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you could discover in a home that you move into, especially if it's not a newer home.
Yeah.
So you even here,
yeah,
over at the rancher and here, stuff that y'all found here. It's interesting. And it just brings light to stuff. I mean, dang, I found a dead body behind a wall and he was murdered, but the people flipped the house. Yeah, a permanent resident. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Irene wins the prize for the weirdest thing they found behind a wall.
Yeah,
on today's episode of Gobsmacked.
That's right, Gobsmacked. That's the new word of the day. but it is interesting. I mean, think about when you go in and renovating an old home.
Yeah.
You know, things in the wall that you find. That's intriguing.
You think about you go to a paranormal investigation
Mhm.
and you see a person, or you happen to see a full body apparition walk through a wall.
Yeah.
It could have been, there was a door there at one point, but it's now a wall.
Exactly.
They walk, they're going through, they've changed it up.
And that's what a lot of people, I think, see when they're seeing apparitions, pardon me, going through. There could have been, and that's what we need to do as paranormal investigators and researchers. When we see that phenomenon, we need to do a little bit more research. What was there?
Yeah.
Valid point. Absolutely.
Speaking of paranormal, I think you've got a paranormal story.
I do. I've got a paranormal story coming up in just a second. We're going to jump into the next to the last video for you guys. This is really one intriguing. We're going back to space again.
Back to space.
Back to space.
Pigs in space.
Is on a groundbreaking mission to uncover water on the moon with the Lunar Trailblazer. But this isn't just any search. It's a game changer for future lunar explorers. The Lunar Trailblazer, a small yet powerful spacecraft, will map water ice across the moon's surface and even deep inside shadowed craters. This helps scientists understand where water exists and how it cycles on the moon. Why is this important? Water ice is essential for future astronauts. It can be used for drinking, oxygen, and even rocket fuel. With Lunar Trailblazer's data, we'll know the best spots to set up lunar bases. NASA's ice hunt could transform moon exploration, making human life on the moon closer than ever before.
Now, I wanted to make sure, again, we told you it's whatever is good, what the news is, we want to make sure we tell you that. I think that was a great article.
Yeah.
That's when I came across that short. I'm like, look, it's letting us know in some ways what the intent is for the future.
Yeah.
How are we going to make the future if we haven't already? You know, just saying.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's good to know that kind of stuff if it's there. And of course, you know, there could be bases on the moon already. We don't know.
Yeah, you know, and okay. Well, I put a post up in the Travelers group page, if you will. And I wanted to see what people thought. It was a poll. And let me get our story for our last run together, and then I'll bring it up. There it is. And in the poll, it asked, do you believe what some of the astronauts have released in the last 8 to 10 years that they haven't talked about, that we've already been to Mars several times, that several of the Apollo missions were to Mars? Okay. So I put it out there. I wanted people to think, I wanted to hear their opinion because these are actually very credible astronauts that said yes. Do you believe? Do you not believe? Or maybe. A lot of you have said you agree. I think that's very interesting. Why would somebody on a multiplicity of scales of the level of these individuals, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 astronauts say we've already been to Mars? Same thing about the moon. So I find that interesting. I think astronauts have seen aliens. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Again, they don't tell us everything. They're not going to tell us everything because for the sake of national security here in the United States, or for the fact that they say they don't want to panic in the world because there are a lot of people that are not awake to the idea. I didn't say use that other word, that political bullshit word, but they're not awake to the idea of we're so much more than what we thought.
Well, I mean, I think anybody, even if doesn't matter how awake they are, any people will use any excuse to go out and riot and steal and get free shit. That doesn't matter. So
Touché.
yeah, it doesn't matter how awake we are, it's going to happen. So
I agree. Michelle, I think yes, we have been to Mars. I agree. I think we have too.
It's always that You know, that goal, like you can never get to, or keep working towards it, but never happens. Like,
Well,
I'd say it, cures for cancer, cures for diseases that we should have cures for by now.
and we do, I
But
think, but they're not
They,
let it out there.
they just
Yeah.
keep melting it and trying to get more money.
Exactly.
We're almost there.
Almost there.
Nope. No, we're just so close, so close.
And I don't want people to panic, so they don't tell us. Well, see, they think they're trying to protect us, and they're not. I think it creates more panic when you don't tell the truth. I mean, we see that over and over again.
It pisses people off when they
Yeah.
find out.
Why don't you
what's
just tell us the
really
truth,
going on.
motherfucker? Oh, it did real good.
Yeah.
Government doesn't want panic. Yeah, well, it's because they lose control. I think we have, and there's a lot more to this story that I can get into. I've already done a show about the moon landing several years ago. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. And we went in depth and detail on that. We can do it again.
Big Pharma doesn't want to release cure for cancer. Yes, because it's a lucrative business.
But it also controls population control.
Mm-hmm.
Population
Expecting,
control, people.
Guys in black suits to knock on the cabin door
Yeah.
talking this shit.
My bad. So before we end up, we're going a little over, but we're going to end this on a paranormal note.
Yes.
Yay! Look, we don't usually do that. We don't get a lot of paranormal into this, but I found something I want to share. Hey, Robert's in the house. Hey, I'm at lunch. What's going on the cheesecake? Well, we're doing our thing, brother man, and you actually ended up on a great point. We're going to make your lunch and everybody else's lunch wonderful. Watch this. This is going to be cool as hell.
There's a restaurant in Williamsburg County serving a hauntingly good dining experience. Our Cheriston Clark and photojournalist Brian Hines visited Hemingway, where mysterious things are served up, but not from the menu.
I originally had it as a kids' clothing store, but it didn't do very well. So we live in a really small town that has nothing to eat. And so I said, well, let's try to do a restaurant.
Heather Collins owns Wiley's on Main in Hemingway, and it's got history.
It was a general store, and then it became a bank in the front and a doctor's office in the back. After that, it was a jewelry store for a long time, a very long time. And that's what everybody remembers it as a jewelry store.
Her grandfather bought the building in 2022 before he passed. By early 2023, with renovations underway, strange things started to happen.
We would hear whispering and I would be here by myself sometimes and hear whispering. And we see things move out of the corner of your eye. Things move and get thrown, like utensils, silverware, kitchen things. I thought I was crazy at first, but I know I'm not because I've had several people experience it. So,
like customers.
And I sat down right there, and our drink station right here has extra silverware up under it. And as they were sitting there and I was sitting there, the silverware just flew out, a fork and a knife, a butter knife. And the woman looked at me, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but the woman looked at me and she said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Does that happen a lot?" I said, "Yes, ma'am."
A paranormal group came in to investigate. Members used a sensory method on Chef Tiffany Cook to find out who may be sharing the space.
That's Steve.
I had the headphones in and then other headphones over top and being blindfolded, and then you hear white noise.
And so she couldn't hear or see anything, and he's beforehand when he was giving her instructions, he said, whenever you hear something through that white noise, you just shout it out. So while she was doing all that, he was asking questions, basically, who are you, what is your name? And time as he said, what is your name, it was not even 5 seconds, Tiffany said, Joe.
Now they refer to him by name when they know he's around.
My big thing with Joe is the bell on the door. We'll be all in the back. It'll be after closing time when we're all like just prepping for the next day. the bells will just start going off, and it was also sound like the doors being shut. And we'll walk in here and like look, and then we'll all just look at each other and we're like, Joe, quit playing, we're closed. And then it'll stop for a little bit, and then he'll go right back and try to open the door.
Heather wants customers to know Wiley's ghost story is not a scary one.
Whatever's here is just wanting to get our attention, or just wanting to say, hey, I'm here. And but yeah, I hope that it would draw curiosity more than.
Now, see, that's why we want to share this, because what did she say? I don't want people to be scared. It's an experience. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I wanted to share the story with y'all today on the paranormal side, because we don't really get into the paranormal on the show. So it was really interesting when I could find some paranormal news to bring out to you guys. Irene, the restaurant has lots of voices coming out. I can hear them talking about whatnot. There's a doctor and several different spirits that
doctor's office
place. Yeah.
In the front.
It was
in the back, like party in the front.
It's like a mullet. It's a paranormal mullet.
Yeah, exactly. But those buildings back in the day, man, you know, like it was so many different things. Like this cabin, it was so many different businesses, and the house next door.
Happy 13, brother.
So many different businesses.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, they would just so many these buildings were built to last.
Exactly.
And they just had different kinds of stuff going on in them. Like it was a clothing store, and then it turned into a restaurant
and a gift shop and whatever. Oh, there, yeah. So hopefully we gave y'all a little interesting morning time hanging out with us. We appreciate you doing so. Michelle said, "Great story." I thought it was too.
Me too.
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. Look for us in 1 month. We'll return with some more interesting stories, craziness, and strange things are happening in the world. Yes. And we'll see where we're at. Maybe by then we'll already have contact.
Maybe. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. And we'll see what happens. You know, we may be in a completely different situation in a month, and it could be good. Let's just accept what's about to happen. I think it's going to. Until then, travelers and those like freaks amongst us, we'll see you on the other side. This is what's going down.
I'm Howie.
I'm Ryan.
We'll
see you next time.
Bye.